Okay, so is everyone in this movie morally reprehensible? Yes. Did it still grab and maintain my attention with an iron grip? Also, yes. Okay, so um, this is a movie that I knew nothing about other than it was apparently popular. So, okay, I guess we'll watch it. It's called I Care a Lot on Netflix. And I don't
Uh,
what
I
else.
care a lot.
Sorry, I care a lot. What I say.
I care.
Oh, I thought I said okay. Yeah, whatever. I care a lot. Which is a movie with I don't know her name, but that bitch from Gone Girl. Is the only place I know her from.
Yep. This is the second time I I've seen her play it an organized creepy criminal.
Just the worst kind of person. I don't know if creepy is the word, just morally reprehensible. Um,
Your your face is still frozen,
we'll
but
find on my
I can
screen.
hear you.
Okay, there we go. I'm back. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, and you're moving again.
All right. There was an issue in my connection. Apparently, I just had to reset it real quick. Uh,
Okay.
So yeah, Rosalind Pike, massive bitch. Which is like I don't
Yes.
like to use that phrase. I do, but I don't like to use that phrase loosely. Uh, uh, but this is a case where like, oh, she earned some ire in this movie just by just being just the worst. Uh,
She's relentless. She's organized. She. Whew,
so like for context of what she does in this movie, this is a real thing. I googled it because I was like, there's no way this is a real thing. It's a real thing.
it's extremely plausible, and the plausibility of this in real life is horrifying.
It's not just plausible; it happens. It's a real, like I said, it's a real thing that happens. At least I'm pretty sure. I googled it, and that's what Google said, so I'm going with that. Uh, where it basically it's about this woman who runs like his guardianship program, where basically people,
Operation.
operation, where basically when people get of old age and they start becoming more senile and can't take care of themselves, she convinces the court to make them her legal guardian, and then she basically just robs them blind and milks them for money until they die. That's
Yeah,
also deprive them every right she can, basically.
she has has found a technique and a legal systematic way to become the guardian of many seniors, and until she, like you said, milks them dry.
And she one day gets and she gets she's works with a doctor to help her do this. The judge is on her side, not like knowing the con, but just thinking that she's legitimately doing good things. And then
Mm-hmm.
she gets this woman who thinks she's like the holy grail, only to find out that she's connected to the Russian mafia led by Peter Dinklage.
Who
Um,
it I enjoyed his character and performance in this movie.
this is like my favorite Peter Dinklage performance I've seen in a long fucking time. I was really happy to see him like be put in a role where he can actually flex his acting talent.
Yes, probably this and his role in the British version of Death at a Funeral are my favorites of his.
I haven't seen that one. I just know the last
It's
movies.
very funny. You should check it out sometime.
I just know the movies he's done post Game of Thrones have definitely been kind of demeaning in a lot of ways. If he's not playing like the quirky, like sex craven little dude, he's like always like this pathetic person or something like that. So this is like the first one role I've seen him in where he actually has some meat on the bone. So for that
Yes,
factor alone, I really
he
appreciate it.
actually
Fuck.
has material to work with here.
Yeah, like he's
Yeah,
legitimately intimidating, and he has some great chemistry with Pike. I forget again. What's her name again?
Rosalind
Thank you, Rosalind.
Rosalind Pike.
I'm just gonna have you
You're
tell me
welcome.
the name instead of me butchering the name and then you correcting me.
Fair enough.
Now, right off the bat, I don't want to go too deep into like how their dynamic plays out or how the cat and mouse chase goes. It's worth explaining for yourself, and I don't think we really need to get in the nitty gritty of that to really explain what works and what doesn't work about this movie. As opposed to like herself or any other movies we talked about before. Now, what I think was the most important thing to talk about this movie is the fact that this is a movie where everyone is awful. Everyone. There is no likable people.
Oh yeah.
And usually that's a negative on my count because I've definitely shat on that in a lot of movies before. So I was wondering, like, okay, this is a great opportunity to talk about how you do movies with unlikable people well, which is your character doesn't need to be likable, but they
Yes.
have to be interesting, and the story has to be good enough for you to want to see where it goes. And if you nail those other two aspects, you can get away with an unlikable protagonist. And this is
That's
perfect at that.
that's why I was surprised that I liked this movie more than I was expecting to, because upon watching the trailer, I thought these characters look awful. Why do I want to spend 2 hours with them? And then I watched it and I couldn't tear myself away because I wanted to see what happened to them. And yes, they are all um, awful people. They're all un- villainous, unlikable characters with very unredeeming qualities and personality traits.
And they all do.
But I it was like a car accident. I just couldn't look away because they were just so magnetic with one another.
Like I said, this movie like grabs your attention and holds it with an iron fist. Like it's aggressively in your face about it.
It
Uh,
is.
like
Subtlety is not this movie's strength, nor is it trying to be.
no, yeah, no. So like, I would also think that that's exactly the point. Is more like you're not supposed to like. That's what I was thinking. Like this is why this movie works for me, as opposed to like say Holiday, for example, which I fucking hated.
That
Uh,
was just bad.
I was just bad. But like, here's what I'm talking about in terms of like how you do unlikable characters well. Is the fact that Holiday wanted you to like and root for the characters. The movie wanted you to want them to get together. It wanted you to want them to win. I Care a Lot does not share that same concern.
No.
Like, at all. It knows you hate this character, and it knows you're watching not because you want her to win, but because you actively want that cathartic moment. Uh, and you're like, Peter Dinklage comes in, who is just as bad of a person, but you're actively rooting for him just because you hate her more.
It becomes an electric who is worst contest.
Basically, like not even that. Every time something bad happened to the main character, I was like, "Good, fuck her. I don't care. She deserves every ounce of this." And Peter Dinklage too, to a lesser extent. At least he cared about his mom. That gave me like some kind of motivation. Like
Well,
him.
Marla Grace and Rosalind Pike's character cared about her girlfriends.
True, but Peter Dinklage didn't lock her girlfriend in basically in a prison that's disguised as a care facility and is stripped of all her rights. And the girlfriend
Not
was just as complicit. So that's a case where, like, yeah, even in that case, I felt a little bad for the girlfriend, but not bad enough.
yeah. She knew what she was getting into.
Yeah, it's like she knew what they did. She was just as complicit. She was just as an actor participant. So fuck them both. Uh, So and then I don't want to give anything away. This movie does kind of end in the perfect way for this kind of a story, as
It's very cyclical.
it's very cyclical, and it's also very much a commentary on the nature of capitalism, the exploitative nature of it, and how the people that actually succeed in it are the ones that prey off the ones who don't.
Yes.
And so from that perspective, I thought the ending was like, okay, I don't like it, but it makes sense. Well, except the very, very end. I was okay with that. But up to that point, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes. It's the twist towards the end is one I didn't expect, but it like you said, it made sense, and the very very end, I kind of felt like that was perfectly fitting, and a smart callback.
Absolutely. And it just shows how good these two characters have chemistry together. And I don't want to give anything away beyond that. But it all comes together very, very well. All the pieces come into play very, very naturally and very authentically. And Yeah, I fucking loved this movie.
Yeah, I genuinely wasn't expecting to like this as much because these characters looked cheesy and over the top and toxic and just awful. But they're so I keep using the same words. They're so magnetic and electric, and I was I was sitting where I am now in front of my laptop, practically on the edge of my bed, just thinking to myself, okay, what is she doing next? Is is this shit gonna work? What?
Yeah, like you're legitimately watching there, like I want them all to die, but I'm so intrigued.
Yes. It's like I I kind of want them to get caught by the cops and have everything sort of unravel around them.
But you want to see
But
where it goes. Like you want them to get the like comeuppance, but at the same time, it's like, but I don't know what's gonna happen here. And you're just
yeah,
it's amazing how much it catches your attention and it holds on to it. And I really admire a movie like this, um, that again can pull off that tricky balance of waiting for catharsis and dealing with people that you would ordinarily never want to be around or ever want to meet. And
and would horrify you. I don't know about you, but this made me even more horrified about turning old and possibly losing my whatever resemblance of sanity I currently possess.
oh, there were some parts of the movie that straight made my blood boil, especially in that first act when they're kind of setting the groundwork for everything she does and how she does it and all that stuff. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
leave her alone. I was legitimately pissed off, but that's when I knew the movie had me. It's like, oh, you tricky bitch! I know you got me, and I'm gonna sit through the next 2 hours of this movie because I have to see this woman pay. Uh,
She's a fucking shark.
oh
She
yeah,
is merciless.
and she is phenomenal at playing that part.
Yes.
Everyone in this movie is phenomenal. I'll give perfect credit to. And it's so
Definitely.
expertly crafted, and it's like almost over the top way, um, to amplify this intensity and drive and aggression that is like layered in every frame of this. Um,
Even the score is this um thudding electronic mix that it is brazened and in pounding and in your face. Uh,
yeah, it's this is not like a calm, contemplative movie. This is one that like pulls you by the collar and just says, "Look at it," and you're like, "Okay, I'll look. Okay, I'm good."
uh,
And next thing you know,
similar
it turns into
to
like Stockholm syndrome, where you're like, "Oh, I hate it, but I love it." Like,
yes, similar to some of Marla Grayson's wards, as they are called. This movie kind of holds you hostage.
yeah, very much so, and it makes you want more in a weird way. Like this,
Yeah,
just trying to list all the elements and all the things I should not like about this movie that I absolutely like, and that to me is like, if you managed to pull that off, you've done this with a deft hand. Bravo, props.
I didn't pay attention to who directed this, but like you said, all the props.
And I think that like someone I was reading a Twitter thread about this movie who was talking about the same thing we're talking about, like just unlikability of the characters and why it works in the movie's favor. Because like
Mhm.
even like halfway through the movie, they have this scene where Peter Dinklage as a lawyer try to get his mother out of the facility, and he is what's I'm looking for coded in like the stereotypical douchebag lawyer fashion with like the with a white pinstripe jacket
Mhm.
and like the slicked back hair and the like the douchebag beard and all these things, and he's making his arguments in court. But you're not like in any other movie, he'd be the bad guy. But here you are actively rooting for him just because you hate her more.
Yes. I
And you
I
really want her to lose.
I was kind of expecting when we first meet uh, that that character whose name was Dean Erickson. Um, I was expecting him to kick Marla Grayson's ass in the courtroom scene, but she just floors him.
Yeah. And that just goes back to just again capitalism, how fucked up our judicial system is. Um, that's a whole nother topic for another day.
Yeah.
We don't quite have time to go over all that today.
No, I'm too tired.
This is definitely one of those rare cases where like I really don't want to give anything away. Like this, most things you talk about is like mostly in the first half of the movie, and I feel like the rest really should be seen for yourself. So I'm happy with keeping this short and just saying go watch this. Like this is a legitimately fascinating movie.
Definitely, it is a much better film than the trailer makes it appear to be, and it it's it's worth watching the first act. And if you aren't gripped like you and I were, uh, then go ahead and stop. But if you are, oh, it is worth it. It's a ride worth taking.
Like this is definitely a case if you watch this movie and you just if just the unlikability of these characters is enough to turn you off, I get it. Like
Oh yeah,
that is
they're
perfectly
despicable.
valid reason to not like this movie. That being said, it is not an objectively bad movie. This is an objectively well crafted movie, but I can definitely see it's not being for everybody.
Yes, this could be very triggering for a large variety of people for a number of reasons. Um, but if you like a gripping, fast-paced crime drama, crime caper, definitely check it out.
Yeah, like I think something like this is a modern noir movie in like in every sense. Like, yeah, I can totally fucking see that. Um,
Yes,
so I think we'll probably end it
only
there. Oh, good.
only the femme
The Fatales.
fatale
Yeah.
it is like her characterization is on steroids, and it's louder and flashier and more fast paced.
Yeah, like I said, modern take on a noir film. So for all that movie,
Yes,
like all that, this might be
which is a
my
very
favorite movie.
underrated genre.
Oh yeah, for sure. I love noir movies. So for all of that, I have a deep amount of respect for movies. My favorite movie so far this year. So I highly recommend this.
Same.
um,
Yeah.
so I think we'll end it there, so that way you can take a break. You've had a long day. Um,
Thanks.
and I've had a long day too, so I'm gonna take a break. And we still got a bunch of shit to catch up on. We're slowly chipping our way back up. I think we're gonna check out Judas and the Black Messiah tomorrow, along with Space Sweeper.
I've heard really good things about that.
So have I. So we'll see where that one goes. And then we'll catch up on whatever the fuck else is out right now. I don't even know anymore. So thank you guys for watching. See y'all later.